All right, so we are picking up on page 6 of our packet for this video. So again, this is your extra notes packet, page 6. So before we can begin the last part of our lesson 1.4, we have to remind ourselves of a couple definitions. Okay, this is something you should have learned in middle school, but we're going to review it. Recall that the perimeter of a shape is equal to the distance around a shape. So you're going to have to write this down in your notebook or in your packet on page 6. It's not there. Pause the video if you need to. But perimeter is defined as the distance around a shape, whereas area is defined as the space inside of a shape. So these are our two definitions. And you'll notice there's also this little subtext right here that to calculate perimeter, all I have to do is add up my 4 side lengths, which of course are going to be the lengths on the outside of our shape. All right. So take a second, pause the video if you need to, and write that down. I am going to continue. Below that picture in your packet, we have 2 pictures reminding us of some formulas we should have seen before. I'm going to come over to the right side here for the area of a rectangle. Now, we all know that to calculate the area of the rectangle, I can use the formula base times height. You also might be familiar with length times width. Okay, so length times width, width times length. That is the same thing as this formula we have right here, but we use the words base and height for a specific reason, and that's because in a triangle, I don't have a width, or I don't have a length in a triangle. In a triangle, I have a height, which is going to be a perpendicular distance straight up and down. And again, the reason why we use those same words for both of them is because we need to get familiar with the terminology. If I think about it, I could cut a rectangle in half into 2 triangles. Say I want to find the area of just one of those triangles. Well, I know to get the area of the whole thing, it's base times height. So doesn't that mean to get the area of this triangle right here, couldn't I use the formula area equals base times height and then divide it in 2 to get only one of those triangles? And in fact, this is actually exactly where the formula to find the area of a triangle comes from. Because although they look slightly different, this formula and this formula mean exactly the same thing. It is 1/2 the area of the base, the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height, or base times height divided by 2. I do suggest writing this one down in your student journal. A lot more students are more comfortable with this than the fraction version above. All right, we are going to do an example together, and this is one that is not in your packet and it is not in your student journal, so you will have to flip to the back page. The very back page of your packet is an open space, and if you flip there, you should have just enough room to write down another example. So this again is being written on the back page. So pause the video, take a second to draw these 2 pictures on the very last page of your packet, and resume when you're ready to follow along with me. All right. I'm being asked to find the perimeter and the area of both of these figures below. Why don't we begin with the triangle? I'm going to use this notation. For perimeter, I'm going to use this notation. I'm going to say the perimeter of my triangle equals, and I'm going to use that to represent perimeter here. Recall that perimeter is the distance around a shape. So if I look at this triangle, my 3 sides are 4, 7, and 9. So to calculate the perimeter of that shape, it's going to be 4 plus 7 plus 9. If I add those all up together, 4 plus 7 is 11, plus 9, that is going to give me 20. Since we aren't given a unit, I'm going to use UN to represent an unknown unit. So our perimeter is equal to 20 units. We can also repeat this process to calculate the area. And I'll use a similar notation, area of the triangle. And I will make my pen slightly smaller first. So the area of the triangle. To calculate the area of the triangle, I need to know the base and the height. The base is always going to be the flat surface that has a perpendicular height attached to it. And this picture is a little problematic because they did not include a right angle. So I'm going to have you add one in there. If I have a right angle here, then that means that this straight perpendicular up and down segment connecting the base to this vertex right here is going to be equal to my height. And of course, 9 is going to be equal to my base. I'll use a lowercase b. So using my formula, area is base times height divided by 2. I know that that's going to be 9 times 5 divided by 2. 9 times 5 divided by 2. 9 times 5 is 45 divided by 2, which is going to give me 22.5. Now, because we're calculating area, remember area is the amount of space it takes to fill inside of a shape. And that's what we call square units. So I'm going to actually have to call this units squared. So again, I know it's a little hard to read there, but this is a point right there. So it's 22.5 units squared. All right, let's repeat this process, but now with my rectangle. If I take a look at this, first of all, in a rectangle, I know that my opposite sides have to have the same length, meaning if my left side has a length of 4 centimeters, so does my right side. Again, that means if my top side, my width, you could say, is equal to 9 centimeters, my bottom length also has to be equal to 9 centimeters. So using my perimeter formula, I could add all of those up. I could do 4 plus 4 plus 9 plus 9. Or I can do a little bit of a shortcut. I have 2 4s, so 2 times 4, and 2 9s, which will give me 2 times 9. Well, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 9 is 18, and 18 plus 8 is equal to 26. They did give us a unit here, so I'm going to have to call that 26 centimeters. All right, our last thing, and then this is the end of the video, is the area of my rectangle. Area of a rectangle is just equal to the base times the height, which in this case is going to be 9 times 4, or 36. But again, because it's area, we have to call it 36 centimeters squared, because area is always, always, always measured in square units. That is the end of this video. Please check out the following videos with the examples from your student journal for more practice on calculating the area of triangles and perimeter of triangles specifically. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.